Good day everyone, this is what July is telling us about the transactions in Arabian Ranches 3. We're seeing about a 19% drop in terms of transaction volume compared to last year. Completely normal after what we have seen, the conflict, and we're seeing a little bit of drop in terms of prices as well. I see the off-plan moving smoothly with May transacting at a 3.6. Let's start with the 3-bedroom townhouses. Now the ready ones, we're seeing a 3-bedroom going at 2.85 all the way up to 3 and 3.1 in clusters such as Raya. 2.85 was led by Ruba, and 2.9 to 3 million seems still to be the average of a ready townhouse. Now off-plan is going somewhere around the same range. We've seen Anya go at 3 million and we've seen Anya go at a 2.65 as well. Now, is that a good deal for a person buying it for 3 million? Well, maybe if they really love the townhouse, the orientation, what it's looking at. See, we cannot really assess from just specifically the number. We have to dive deeper into the location of the townhouse. If it's facing the premium amenities, then of course it's worth the 3 million. Now, if that's not a single row unit or facing something premium, then you should have went for the 2.65. Going into the 4 bedrooms, we're seeing the transactions going from the ones not handed over units at 3.6 in May. We can see it all the way up to 3.7 as well in Anya 1, Anya 2, and the ready ones are in between 3.9 to 4.2. Of course, the location of the townhouse makes the huge difference, and what it's facing, the amenities and the facilities, that decides it all. Now, moving into the bigger layouts, 3-bedroom, no so much transactions seen recently in terms of standalone in Kaya. So we're talking about still the average being a 6.5. Yes. Now, in terms of 4-bedroom, we start with the semi-detached in June. We're talking about a 5.5 million in terms of 4-bedroom, okay, and a 5-bedroom going around 6 million. Of course, there have been higher transactions, but that's the average up till today. Now, going to the standalone villas, Elisab, it's transacting at 7 point something, though we have seen in Elisab a transaction going for 8 million recently. Of course, the location still also varies of the property. And we're talking about the 5-bedroom from 10.5 all the way to 14 million. Now we're seeing transactions of Elisab showing at 7 million, Kaya going all the way at 5 million. These are all transactions that most probably happen somewhere around the highest peak of the panic. Did we surpass that? Are we in a place where people are more confident in terms of paying the premium that is required, or what was asked before the conflict, or are we still at that stage where people are unsure? Now, if that's the case, why are we seeing transactions increase at this point and higher requests? Now, to have a better idea, we're looking into the market trends. What has been going on, let's say August last year, 2025, the average sales or the average transactions per month were around 49, almost around 50 transactions. It showed a little bit of a drop in regards to September, had a little bit of a pickup in terms of October. Now, bear in mind that whatever reflects here is what's been signed, let's say a month or a month and a half. So October is a reflection of August, September, and so on. So we'd say that September is a reflection of August and July of last year. Which is quite normal because a lot of people are outside of the country. If it's the owners, if it's people also looking to buy a home, they're still not here, all right, and they're still not ready in their buying journey. Keeps on peaking, continuing the peaking all the way up till where the conflict has happened. It's around here, March, April. and we're seeing the reflection. Now, even though March is showing the lowest in terms of transactions, and that's maybe because facilities were not accessible in terms of government facilities for the records, we're seeing a correction at 32, which is still lower than what was seen prior to the conflict. And July, it's still at the beginning, so we cannot really measure July. We're talking about June. All right, we're talking about 37 transactions, which is a little bit of a drop of what it was pre-conflict. So in that term, we're concluding that in terms of demand, it hasn't really dropped that much. In terms of price, we're seeing a little bit of a drop, maybe 10% of the previous market value, which is causing an increase or a gained attraction in the area. Now, to sum it up, we can see what's the distribution of beds that people are looking at, and I still find 4-bedroom to be one of the highly attractive layouts. All right, this includes, of course, standalone villas, semi-detached, and as well as townhouses. Now, 3-bedroom is limited to townhouses and the villas in Kaya, which in terms of transaction, even in terms of Kaya, there's not a prevalence of the 3-bedroom. So we're talking about this mostly being the townhouses transacting in terms of 3-bedroom. Of course, the desirability is there. There's also a huge desirability for the 4-bedrooms, which is not limited to townhouses, villas, semi-detached villas. So we're seeing a high desirability in that sense. People are looking, which says that the size of the family moving in Dubai, living in Dubai, is getting quite bigger. The 5-bedroom, which is basically one of the most scarce layouts, we're seeing still 12 transactions at this point from year to date. Now let's take a dip into the rental market. We're seeing 150 to 170 being the average of Bliss, though another new transaction is a 145 in Raya. That's usually not the common for Raya. It's usually a 155 to 160. That's the normal. Okay. Ruba going for 135, which is a drop from what was previously, or their previous asking. We're also seeing these are the 3-bedroom townhouses. Bliss has the bigger layout. That's why the drop is quite shocking in that sense. Joy is winning with a 145 with the rentals that we're seeing at this point. Moving on to the 4-bedroom transactions, we're seeing an average of, let's say, a 190 in terms of the Sun, Joy, Spring, and sometimes now Ruba is going at an average of 200. All right, while Raya owners still are holding on at a 230 plus. Now, looking into the 4-bedrooms in terms of June, we are seeing an average of rental of around 250, though we've seen a little bit of a drop all the way into 230. 5-bedroom still remains at a 270 in terms of June. Looking into the transactions of the villas, now 4-bedrooms in Kaya is showing transactions around 270, 280, all the way to 300. Now in Elisab, rentals are going at 330 for a 4-bedroom villa. 5-bedroom, we are seeing really quite the amazing transactions happening. We're seeing Kaya winning with a 1 million and a 1.2 million for 2 years. These properties have been locked at that prices in terms of rental. In regards to Elisab, we're still looking at one of the lowest rental transactions that happen. We're looking at a transaction going at 450 per annum. Now this graph here, this just sums up the demand for rent in terms of Arabian Ranches 3. Pre-conflict, we're talking about 66 deals signed per month. 81 was the highest that Arabian Ranches 3 has seen pre-conflict. After the conflict, we've seen a huge jump in terms of demand, with May being was one of the highest up till June came. It was 106 contracts in May. Now June, we're talking about 160 new contracts signed in terms of Arabian Ranches 3. Now looking into these numbers, is it actually the drop in prices that's causing the demand? Or is it just because it's a beautiful community and a lot more families are looking and seeing the appeal of it? Now, last but not least is the bedroom complexion that we're looking at. We're seeing 413 year-to-date new contracts signed in terms of 3-bedroom. In 4-bedroom, we're seeing almost 300 new contracts signed. And even the 5-bedrooms, we're seeing 41 contracts signed in terms of rental going on in Arabian Ranches 3. It's actually peaking. The performance is more than amazing in terms of demand and occupancy rate. Now, to stay updated with what's going on in Arabian Ranches 3, just subscribe or contact me, my number below.